Hey everyone, Morgan here. So I saw a post on Reddit the other day where someone had said, my house was spared after a tornado by half a mile, but a friend of mine took a direct hit, and here's what I learned from him. So I'm going to read this to you. I do not expect you to read this, it's such a little print, and I'm going to put a link down below to where you can actually see the whole thread yourself, but I just screen captured a couple important things, the main post, and then a comment that I saw, which I will also read. So here we go. We're going to talk about some takeaways from this in just a little bit. When you come out of your shelter, your tornado shelter, all of your SHIT will be scattered. Within 10 minutes, at least in this area, sheriffs and first responders will be there asking if anyone is injured. In 20 minutes, spectators will start to show up. They will take videos to post on social media. Among them will be looters. After an hour, they will open up shelters and fill a local high school with cots. You won't want to stay at a shelter because you will want to protect your property and start putting your life back together. Prep to have a shelter to set up. 2 hours after, the Red Cross will show up with a ton of water. They dropped about 8 cases at my friend's house. By the next morning, the helpers will be arriving, and it is amazing. Be ready to accept acts of kindness you never imagined. People offered up their RVs, trucks, campers, food, labor, etc. After 3 days, FEMA will show up and scrape your property flat with a bulldozer, and everyone will leave. That's when things get rough. All right, and then there was a comment that was very interesting. So somebody said, this is very interesting. How do spectators and looters get there so fast? Are they neighbors? Do people follow around tornadoes? And then the reply to that is, we call them disaster tourists. Most of them live within 10 minutes of wherever, but with enough notice of an impending storm, they will drive hundreds of miles to watch a tornado. They are actually one of the biggest problems during recovery efforts. Trying to get manpower and supplies down a 2-lane road packed bumper to bumper with people hanging cell phones out of their car windows, even seen them parked along scenic overlooks, full-on tailgating. The looters are another story. If you ever seen a meth head strip the copper out of the light pole in the middle of the day, you quickly realize they will do about anything to make some quick cash. So what are some takeaways here? I think the first takeaway is going to be, I want to start with a positive here, that people are going to be coming together and helping, okay? After almost every natural disaster or just some crisis, people come together. They come together to help each other. So that's a real great positive. You hear about this in almost every natural disaster. So that's a really good positive. So the next thing that we want to look into is the fact that there are going to be not only spectators, but people who are probably going to be looting. Okay, so they are there to see, first of all, if you are there. If you're not there to protect your property, like they said, you don't want to go to those shelters because you need to stay there and protect your property. Regardless if you have any stuff left, that's still your property and you need to protect it, right? So that's takeaway number 2. All right, and the last takeaway that I want to talk about is the fact that, yes, the Red Cross came to drop off water, okay? All they did was drop off water, or so that's what they said. And then FEMA came to level the property, right? It took 3 days for FEMA to come, okay? That's 3 days, probably without any, resources or help. Yeah, there was a lot of people coming to help, but, we're talking about FEMA and other organizations, right? It took them 3 days. So you have to have some way to help yourself during those 3 days, and even then, it doesn't sound like FEMA helped them in any way, like to give them food, water, or any other assistance. And after all that happens and everybody goes home, you are now left in the aftermath. You are now left to deal with all this. Like he said at the very end, that's when things get rough. When everybody starts leaving, the people who are helping, FEMA, Red Cross, whoever, once they leave, then you really have to rebuild after that, and the rebuilding in the aftermath, that is that's the most difficult part of natural disasters and things, you know, especially when all this is, you know, affecting you personally. It's the aftermath, because now you have to figure out how to rebuild. You have to get all your life together. You know, you have to get your home back together. You have to, you know, figure out a way to eat and live until you can figure out your next, you know, shelter or rebuild or whatever. That's when things start getting really tough. So I thought that this was just really interesting. I'm going to put a link down below to where you can go read the rest of these comments and things. Great thread, really great insight. And I would love to hear from you guys if anybody has ever experienced natural disasters and things, and how your situation, and also some other takeaways that you may have seen from this. Thank you all so much for watching. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today. Talk to you later. Bye.